Hello there, my friend, and welcome to the Disney Travel Secret Show. My name is Rob, hopefully your very favorite podcaster named Rob. This is my wife, Kerri, and we are coming to you from the CMV studio right here next to Walt Disney World in beautiful Windermere, Florida. This is episode number 426, original air date April 14th, 2025.
And last week's show was all about skipping the Park Hopper Pass. But this week, as temperatures are starting to rise in Orlando, we're going to give you our top tips to beat the heat at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, it was a rude awakening coming back from temperatures sometimes in the mid to low 30s in Europe last month, and then coming back to the high 80s in Florida.
I know, it actually got up to like 90. It's been hot, but there are many ways that you can stay cool at Disney because it really does get hot here. Like really hot.
It does. So stay tuned for our top tips from Orlando locals as to how to do Disney when it's really hot out there.
Take it away, Hugh.
Hello, my friends. This is former Disney Imagineer Hugh Darley, and you're listening to Disney Travel Secrets with my friends Rob and Kerri Stuart. As you can imagine, I have plenty of Disney secrets myself, and I can't wait to share them with you. Let's get this show on the road. Take it away, guys.
So this is something that has really, I would say, not happened in a while. We were having breakfast at Whispering Canyon with two of our clients, Erica and Larry, and we had not been there probably since we moved here to Orlando over 3 years ago.
At least.
And I forgot how much fun that place is. It's also one of the two main reasons that we moved here. One is getting together with our clients that are in town, and two, getting together with our agents who are also in town.
Yeah, so it was so fun. We met Erica and Larry on Monday morning. And then on Wednesday, when two of our agents were in town, Linda was here for her birthday palooza, and also Wendy was in town with her family. So we were able to meet up with them over at the Polynesian and get my noodles. That's why I love living here.
Yes, you did. Let's not forget Melissa and Alicia, who are in town celebrating their anniversary.
Yeah, that was super fun just to meet up with them. And also Becky, who, congratulations, Becky, on finishing your first Run Disney event. I think you also said it will be your last.
It's a one and done. Okay, so back to Whispering Canyon. As we were leaving, two people came up to us and said, "Hi, we listened to your show." Again, that does not happen as often as some of you may think that it does, but it always makes our day.
Yeah, no, that was so fun. So we have a huge thank you and hello to Corey and Sarah, who were visiting from Alabama.
And they made sure they were having breakfast at Whispering Canyon as their last day at Disney with their favorite waitress, Nikki.
Yeah, so no, that's
who was
so
also
fun.
our waitress as well.
Yeah, so fun.
I don't think we've seen that many people in that short of time span within like a couple days, probably in a long time. It was a blast.
Yeah, so fun. And if you do ever see us in the parks or at one of the restaurants, please say hello. We love to say hi.
It's also, here's a ketchup update. So if you know Whispering Canyon, you know they have a ketchup thing. So in the past, if you asked for ketchup, the entire staff would bring a boatload of ketchup to your table.
Yeah, it actually is kind of fun. Now, if you ask for it, the table who asked for it before you then will bring all of their bottles to your table. So let's just say chaos ensues. So be very careful about asking for ketchup.
It was funny. And again, we have not been there probably since the early 2020s.
Well, ever since they got rid of the Banana Foster's French toast.
Don't do this.
I know.
Don't do this.
We didn't go back. But you know what, though? It was really good. We actually had a barbecue sandwich. It's on the breakfast menu.
For breakfast.
And
we had
delicious.
A barbecue sandwich with fries and coleslaw for breakfast.
It was good.
Just to keep in mind.
Yeah, something different, right?
So here's a quick video that we shot. And this, again, a reason why you guys should be watching us on YouTube and not just listening in your car, which is also very, very cool.
So lots of fun surprises when you eat at Whispering Canyon Cafe. This is a great one for your checkout day to head on over at Wilderness Lodge and experience it, or maybe even consider doing dinner there on your arrival date.
I think that's a great idea. So now we are entering the time of year when things are getting really hot here in Orlando. Now, we did have a couple of great days. Last week, they were kind of cooler in the high 70s. Actually, the high 70s probably this week.
Yeah, but the best part, though, was the humidity is low for now. But soon enough, Orlando is going to be hot and sweaty. And we even have had some super hot days lately.
Yes, we have.
But we also know for those of you coming down for your vacation that you're going to want to get the most out of your days in the parks.
And there is a right way and a wrong way, I will say, to deal with the heat. The number one thing is you have to be prepared.
That is so true. And there are a lot of ways that you can plan your day so that when it is super hot, you can navigate the park like a pro and stay as cool as possible. So you can and you will get sunburned.
Yes,
it's so
you will.
easy down here. So make sure you use these tips we are sharing today.
I know. Trust me on this one. I remember when I moved here, I moved to Florida back in 1997. And I was sitting at Clearwater Beach one day before working the night shift at Hooters. That's another story. It was February, and I'm from St. Louis. Of course, I don't need sunscreen in February. And okay, I was not just wrong, I was very wrong.
I know. You've told me this story a few times, and I was like, how did you not know this? The sun is just different down here, but it's intense.
That is a story for another day or decade or never. So let's start with what to pack. One thing that I have with me probably every time we go out anywhere in Florida, and that is a baseball hat. This is one that I like. Again, another reason to watch us on YouTube. This is one of our Creating Magic Vacations hats that come as part of our business kit for our travel agents. You want something that is very, very lightweight as opposed to some of these thicker hats where you know you're going to be sweating.
Those are good for the winter down here.
Or a beanie.
Yeah.
I wore a beanie in Europe for the first time in like 4 years, but this is one of my favorite hats. But you always want to have a hat to keep the sun out of your eyes.
Yeah, hats are definitely key. You should have one in your park bag. So plan on getting a nice lightweight one. The other thing you want to do is make sure you buy some waterproof sunscreen and put that in your checked luggage or get a smaller size to put in your carry-on. Because if you have to get it in the parks, it's going to be super expensive. And then just in case you do get burnt, we also recommend you get some of the after sunscreen stuff. And, you know, it was so funny when we were at Poly, we were looking at some of the guests that were walking around and we were like, are they checking out or checking in? And one of our travel agents, she looked at me, she goes, look at their sunburnt legs. I bet they're checking out today. They look very tired and very sunburnt.
So one of our top tips is not only have a really, really good sunscreen, not pay the extra money, just get the good stuff. If you need to set up a reminder to reapply, just do it on your phone like I do for most of the stuff I do every day.
No, but that's super, super important because you are going to be sweating in the heat. And yes, sunscreen doesn't last all day and you're going to be wiping sweat from your face or you may get wet on a ride. So very important that you do remember to reapply.
Well, again, this is also where a really good hat comes in just to keep the sun off your face.
Yep. So the next item to pack is a refillable water bottle because you need to stay hydrated when you are in the parks and it's hot.
And I know this is going to seem obvious, but it's really not. Always have water with you, whether it's, you know, some bottles you bring with you from the resort or just a refillable bottle.
Yeah. So one of the things is we have noticed over the last few years that Disney is putting a lot more of the water bottle refill stations in the parks and the resorts, making it super, super easy for you to stay hydrated.
I just saw one by the lobby bathrooms at, I think it was Beach Club the other day. Such a great idea. Just get one with like a carabiner that you can either strap to your bag or stroller, whatever you happen to have. That way it's always handy.
Yeah, and I really like the carabiner idea because if you're like me and you put that water bottle in your park bag, you're not going to be thinking about it and reminding yourself that you need to be sipping water throughout the day.
And this is something that we totally came up with. It's called out of sight, out of mind.
Yes.
Okay, technically we didn't come up with this.
It's a true thing though. But think about that though, when it comes to your water. And I see people, they'll bring like those big, what are they? It's a very popular mug, and I can't think of what it's called now, but
we'll call it the popular mug. That's good enough.
Sometimes those are just like so giant. And so make sure you're going to bring something that you will be comfortable with carrying around the park all day.
We call them unwieldy.
Okay.
I don't know. I totally made it up. Next up is your choice of shoes. Again, think about the weather.
Yeah, so in the heat, there may be some times where you're thinking, well, flip-flops, those totally make sense. But they're not always the best option.
I know there are times when my feet sweat so much when it's hot that it's uncomfortable to wear flip-flops because my feet are just kind of like sliding around. Or if I'm driving my 3-pedal car, it makes sense to just wear shoes for shifting.
Yeah, so the key tip here is don't try and break in brand new shoes because they're just cute. I mean, that's a perfect way for you to get blisters and sore feet. And in the summer, it's even worse. So get them broken in at home before you go. That way you'll know if they're comfortable enough and if your feet are going to be sweating a lot in that particular shoe.
You know, you're exactly right. So you should be like, if you're not used to walking a lot, walk around the block or wherever you happen to live, make sure that the shoes are comfortable. But you're not talking about your sneaks, are you?
No, I love my sneaks by
do.
Sir Blakely. I love those, but they're not really park shoes, although I have worn them.
This is not a paid promotion.
No, this is not.
I really, really wish this was a paid promotion.
Yeah, but again, if your feet do sweat a lot, you should also consider packing extra socks. So that way you can maybe change them once during the day. And, you know, you could even like rinse them off at the end of the day, but socks are small. Just pack extras.
Well, okay, so let's talk about clothing. I love Disney branded t-shirts and things like that as much as the next guy. But wearing them in 90 to plus degree heat just means you are going to be waterlogged all day long. My go-to brand is Columbia. They're mostly made for fishing and they are moisture wicking. That's the key, is moisture wicking.
Yeah, so no thick cotton for sure, because once you start sweating, it's going to keep that moisture in there. And also keep in mind the color. So if you're ordering those matching shirts for your family for that awesome photo op, avoid dark colors. Here in Florida, it is hot and the dark colors will attract all of that heat. Black is not a good choice.
It'll soak up the heat.
Yeah.
I remember the other day I wore a black DTS t-shirt to the parks. I'm like, what in the heck am I doing?
I know. What were you thinking?
Well,
you needed this show.
We wore them to like a concert we went to over at Epcot. I'm like, this is stupid. And this is like 5:30 in the afternoon. I was still very hot. So you want to think light and airy clothing. And here's the key. You want it to dry quickly. In quotes, no cotton.
Well, so here's kind of the opposite take is if you are wearing a shirt that soaks up stuff and you are getting really sweaty, when you go inside, whether it's to a show or a restaurant, the air conditioning is on high and now you're going to freeze. So you're going from hot to cold. It's not a good cycle.
You know, I think that's a great idea is if you're going to wear a cotton shirt and you want to, because you have the matching shirts that you did your little iron on things, so everybody has the same shirt, have an extra shirt with you and maybe kind of trade them out throughout the day. If it gets wet, take one off, put a dry one on, and let the first one dry down. But also pack something to help you cool down. This is one of those things that we always talk about and almost always forget to bring with us. I don't know why we do this, and that is cooling towels.
Yeah, so we have been there enough over the last 15 years that you would think this is something we wouldn't forget. But here we are, and we still forget them. I know exactly where they are, and we just forget to pack them.
Okay, I was going to ask you where they were, because I know we have the Disney branded ones.
Okay, those I don't know where those are. Those got lost in the move.
Where are the ones you're talking about then?
They are right next to my go-to park bag.
That would be good to know. Again, we have the Disney branded ones, and we've never used them. And what happens is we would forget them, and we go to a park and go, oh my gosh, let's go ahead and get a Disney cooling towel because of course we're going to use them, and we never have. Those are really good though, especially when you walk through one of the air conditioned shops and the towels are kind of wet and they cool off. Those really are a game changer.
Yeah, I really enjoy having a cooling towel. And so I would get some. You can find them on Amazon. There are tons of options there. Or you can find them in the park too. Yeah. But another really popular thing are those neck cooling fans. I see a lot of these in the parks. Plus getting a fan for your little one that you can strap on the stroller to cool them down. But one thing I really like about the cooling towels is you don't have to, number one, make sure that they are charged so they'll be working. And they can also be pretty bulky in your luggage.
Well, we even have one of our business partners. Her name's Jen Lee. She's a big deal in the travel industry. And she brings a personal battery-powered fan no matter where she goes. We were with her and her husband Randy for like 16 nights over in Europe last month. And she always had that little, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there was one day that was really hot. She goes, do you want my fan? Yes, I would.
Yeah, but you have to have it charged. That's the only downside for that one. It does
have to be charged.
Yeah.
So those are your packing tips. Now let's kind of shift over to the strategies during your trip, starting with knowing when the peak heat times, when it's going to be hot, and how you can avoid them. I'd say normally it's in here, it's like 1 to 5 p.m. typically is very hot here in Orlando.
Yeah, even in the shade.
It is.
But again, you are spending your valuable time and dollars at the parks, and you don't just want to leave the parks during that peak time sometimes. And if that is you, then plan to enjoy a sit-down lunch during that time or take in one of the inside shows. It's a great tip for staying cool.
There are lots of options for that. And I will say specifically at Magic Kingdom, you've got Carousel Progress, the Enchanted Tiki Room, Country Bear Jamboree, Hall of Presidents, Mickey's Philharmonic, and the People Mover. I love me some People Mover.
Yeah, you get a nice breeze. Now, over at Epcot, you can go into the Americas Pavilion, but my favorite place is the aquarium, especially when it's super hot. I do find that Epcot tends to be a very warm park because most everything is outside. So that is a really good one to just do a sit-down lunch. And Moana's, while they have the water, is good, but it's still going to be very, very warm.
Yep. So at Hollywood Studios, you can enjoy the Frozen Sing-Along. Not me, but you guys can. I'll walk through One Man's Dream display, which I do love, and we probably go there almost every time we go to Hollywood. Indiana Jones show is covered, still outside. Or if you do have the little ones, the Disney Junior show.
And it's also a great park for dining over at Hollywood Studios. Now, Animal Kingdom is going to be a little bit warmer just because there are so many plants and trees.
Animals.
And I don't think the animals add to the heat, but there's just a lot more going on there. So it tends to feel a lot more humid. But for this one, you can do the Nemo show or the Lion King or just get a nice sit-down lunch. Great way to cool off,
really,
right?
Look for spots that have shade. So this is a good strategy for watching the 3 o'clock parade at Magic Kingdom. What time is the parade? 3 o'clock. And that's where you can walk in the shade. For like most of the shops on Main Street, you can walk through them and those are all air conditioned. And then stay on the side of Main Street that is shaded for the rest of that time.
Yeah, it does make a big difference.
It does, yeah.
And yes, Disney just came out with yet another summer special for Disney Plus subscribers.
No, that's impossible.
I know, there's
impossible.
so many offers right now. So if we can help you navigate all of those offers and get you the best one for you and your family, please reach out to us or one of our Creating Magic Vacations travel advisors, and we would love to help share all of our pro tips, not just the ones about beating the heat.
Or for even more fun, come join us on our September 22nd cruise, which is called The Week on the Wish. The links are in the show.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that one.
That's going to be a fun cruise.
Yeah, and you're all invited. And of course, if you love sharing Disney tips yourself or vacation planning, we are actively onboarding new agents. So if you have filled out the form this year, you should have received an email about next steps. So check your emails. And if you are interested in learning more, you can go to creatingmagicvacations.com and click on the Join Our Team to learn more.
Thanks again for listening or watching in this case. And until next time, have a magical day.
We hope to see you real soon.